Alright, here I am again, back on my bug out island location. Same place where I was last week shooting my bug out bag video. As you can see, it's been a week. It's now Labor Day weekend on Sunday. And even though this is a weekend where everybody goes out into the wilderness and plays around in their boats and etc., etc., nobody has been to this island. You know, there's been a few boats going by, but other than that, it's still abandoned. My stuff is still here from last time, the tripod I made, which I'll probably use again today. And my campfire is still undisturbed. I put it out with water, obviously, but a few of the sticks have been knocked over. That's about it. That's either from animals or from when I put it out. Other than that, there is absolutely no sign of human activity other than what I have done myself. So I'm going to begin my tour of this island. I'm going to try and make it all the way around the island before my battery runs out, but I'll show you some wild edibles along the way. There's the blueberries from last time. Of course, all along this area, it's all sorts of water lilies and cattails and things with edible parts, not to mention the fish and the shellfish, of course. Alright, I'm gonna start over this way by my kayak where I got onto the island. It's not very easy to get onto this island, by the way. It's, you know, if you're looking at it from shore, it doesn't look accessible at all, because there's a good 3 or 4 feet you gotta climb up on most parts. But I'm gonna start over here. There's tons of acorns on the ground. Oh, and here we go. I didn't expect to see this that quickly, but that is a wild potato plant. I might dig some of those up later to show you what they look like. Indian potato, wild sweet potato. They go by a variety of names, but it is edible, and it's got a lot more protein and calcium than regular potatoes. I've never actually tasted it. That's what I read online. I am not an expert, by the way, so, you know, take anything I say with a grain of salt. And my damn phone just went off in my pocket. Alright, continuing the tour. Of course, there are lots of ferns as well. In the springtime, you can eat those, the little fiddleheads. But here's some more wild potato. It's actually, I first discovered this last time I was here on the island. Only now am I realizing how much of it there is. Definitely going to dig some of those up later, and I'll probably transplant some so even more grows, because they are a very healthy plant. Very good wild edible. I don't know what this is. Don't know what that is, but I'm always finding new stuff on this island. I'll look it up later to see if it's edible. Lots more ferns. And of course, no matter where you go, anywhere in the world, there's going to be stuff washed up. Pollution. Look at this. This has been here for like a year now, and it's still inflated. I don't know what I could use that for, but in an emergency situation, I'm sure it could be used for something. Right now, it is gathering fresh water. But I wouldn't call it fresh anymore. Okay. Wow, there sure are a lot of wild potatoes. I found one plant last time and I got excited. Now I'm realizing that there is a lot more. Oh, there goes a, what is he? I think it was a chipmunk. He's gone now. Oh, there's a big frog. So yeah, just another wild edible. I don't know if you would call an animal a wild edible, but it is wild and it is edible, so why not? Spider webs everywhere. Ow. More acorns all over the place. Climbing over this log here. By the way, these are Not the kind of shoes that you want to wear on an expedition. They got holes in them. But I bought them for $2 at a flea market and they're really comfortable. Just not very practical for the outdoors. Again, I just had dental work recently, so my voice is a little messed up. I apologize for that. Continuing the tour. And there's another chipmunk. I don't know if you saw that on camera. I'm noticing from all these vlogs and such that the water level does get pretty high sometimes. If the disaster reason for bugging out were a hurricane, I certainly wouldn't want to come here. I have to go to one of my other locations. This is a giant birch tree. You don't see birch trees in this area that often because they are very popular trees to log. This one's covered in mushrooms. And I do know there's a type of mushroom, I believe it's called shaky, that grows on birch trees. I don't think that's it, but it might be. I'm not an expert on mushrooms, but I've heard people grind that up, use it for coffee substitute, and it's got a whole lot of antioxidants in it. And from what I heard, if you collect that, you can actually sell it online for quite a bit, but I'd prefer to leave it out here in the wild for emergencies. Plastic bottle on the ground there. Something I'd probably pick up if this were a survival situation. What is this? This is a big... Probably not a smart idea to go touching random mushrooms either. But that's a big mushroom. It almost looks like one of those chacas except maybe not, it's a bit too smooth. All the ones I've seen online just look like a chunk of cancer or something. Continuing on, again, potato plants everywhere. I could probably live off the potatoes on this island. More dead birch trees. And I'm getting tangled up in the vines here. I gotta watch where I'm going too, because there is a big hole. Oh my god, look at this. All those little pink flowers. I first took a picture of the flowers because I thought they looked nice. And when I looked them up when I got home, that's when I found out that they are Indian potato. Now the only way to be sure is to dig them up and look at the roots and cut open the roots and check for latex and everything. But I'm pretty sure those are Indian potato. And just like it says online, they grow like weeds when you find them. But they taste delicious. Supposedly. I was about to say something and I forgot what it was. I got distracted by potatoes. Huh, what's this? I don't know what that is, but it doesn't look edible to me. Usually when something looks like that, it's not edible. There's more of it right here. Who knows, it could be. But I wouldn't eat it without consulting an expert, and neither should you. Seems like the majority of the trees are pine trees on this island. But there are a lot of birch trees and I think oak trees, maple trees. You can always harvest yourself some maple syrup, make yourself some tea with the pine needles. I'm going to move inwards a little bit. Oh, I thought that was a hole for a second. A big log. Oh, as you can see, there's a lot of wintergreen on this island. Break those leaves up, put them in a drink. Stuff of wintergreen tea. There are also berries on them, although a lot of times the berries are hard to find. Some berries too, but those aren't wintergreen berries. Be careful when you pick anything because there's often something right next to it. It looks the same, but it's not. It's a big old hole right there. I don't know if you can make it out in the video, but it's a deep little hole. Put some sticks over there and you get an instant shelter. As long as the water doesn't rise. And it becomes an instant bathtub. I'm going to keep an eye out for wintergreen berries. There are wintergreen plants all over the place, but the berries are edible too. And they've got some sort of aspirin type ingredient in them, which is effective if you get a headache. But that's also why you shouldn't eat too many of them. Same way that you shouldn't eat too many aspirins. And if you're allergic to aspirin, you cannot eat them either. This would be a good spot to cast a line. And there's a bucket right there. In the debris. I've noticed several buckets along the shore of this island. Just another bit of trash that can be utilized in an emergency situation. Let's see. I'm probably covered in spiders right now. Oh look, there's some blackberries. They look delicious. Although it's a very small bush, there are some bigger bushes around. And this is getting so heavily bushy right here that I'm going to move inwards a little bit. Oh, I just picked up another spider. Go for a ride on my shirt. Luckily there's no really poisonous spiders in Maine, so it doesn't really matter. I see some flowers over here. I don't know what those are, but it looks like it might turn into some sort of berry. Might. And that berry might be edible. It's just another thing that I have to look up online. If anybody knows what that is, feel free to leave a comment. Oh. It's a bright red mushroom. I'm gonna guess it's not edible. Even if I knew a mushroom was edible, I probably still wouldn't eat it, because I'd probably end up giving myself a panic attack thinking, what if? And I don't need to be dealing with that. Maybe if I was desperate. But mushrooms, if you're not an expert, not a good idea. Some erosion. This is what I was talking about. This island is not that accessible to the normal person. It's just too steep. And the best part is the only place you can see from the shore that has a couple houses is this part. So if anybody looks at this island, they're going to think, oh, it's too much of a pain in the butt to get out there. But if you got a boat, you can go to the other area where it's easier to get on. How far down that is. That right there. About, spiders. That right there is about the only place where you can see this island from. That's also the place where most people launch their boats from, and sorry about the shaky camera. I just had to kill a mosquito. Other than that, there's a railroad track that runs along this area, and sometimes people walk down that, and that's really the only spot where people can see this island from. That little bridge and the train track. Alright, I'm gonna stop this video for right now and restart it in a second.